Good evening. I'd like to call the Waterville City Council meeting from Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 to order. And I would ask Council Member Anthony Bruno to lead us in the prayer.
Loving God, as we come together tonight for the city of Waterville, we pause to ask you to be with us and guide our way. May your spirit of peace surround all we say and do this evening. We ask for your strength to do what is best for the good of Waterville. Lord God, as servants of your people, we pray that you grant us share your wisdom. Amen.
Thank you. And I'd also ask Tony Garver to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And this is also to recognize Veterans Day, which was this past Monday.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I would ask the clerk to run with roll call.
Here.
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 Good. Next on our agenda is approval of minutes, one for a special council meeting, which was October the 28th. We'll do this in separate approvals, so I need a motion to accept the minutes from a special council meeting on, the special council meeting was on November the 1st.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the special council meeting for November 1st, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is a regular council meeting, which was held on October the 28th. I need a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
So moved, John Rozick.
Second.
Second, Wayne Wagner. Any more discussion? All those in the favor of the minutes from regular meeting of October the 28th, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? All right, we will move on. Next is citizens' comments, and I do have two citizens would be addressing council. First is Wendy Gray. Wendy? I think you know the routine. Name, address.
Wendy Gray, 730 Village Parkway, Waterville. So I gave all of the council members, they have one of the flyers for a Waterville Christmas to remember, giving you information. We've had it on social media, and all of the flyers will be going up in like the different business windows and, you know, kind of the surrounding area. So as you can see, you know, we have our horse and wagon, we have Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus at their workshop again, which will be held at the Deluxe Frame Shop. Listen to music. We'll have the photo green screen, kids crafts, local craft vendors, and a couple of food trucks. Now, this year, the big light up is, of course, at Parker Square. So we're super excited about that because the city has purchased some large retractable flag trees full of lights. One is 25 feet. The other two are 20 feet each. And what's so nice about those, they're reusable every year, and then we just remove the poles and then store those. They cap off where they go into the park. And again, it's like a tree of lights. It'll be really pretty. But this year, we are adding a city Christmas tree contest. And actually, we're having 13 live trees brought in between November 19th and 22nd. And we put some entry forms up at Waterville Library, and all 13 forms are gone. So that's really exciting. It's going to really help make Waterville sparkle even more than ever. And so people are bringing me the entry forms and their $25 fee, and then I'll meet them at the park, like November 23rd, and they'll go ahead and be able to decorate their trees. And then at the night of the Waterville Christmas event, which is Sunday, December 8th from 4:30 to 7, roughly about 6:30, we'll go over to Parker Square. And then about 6:45, we'll do the big light up of everything at the square. And then we will announce our 3 winners. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of everything on the tree contest, but they're pretty nice prizes that are being given, not only to the winners, but also there is prize money being donated to charities as well. So Other than that, we're just looking forward to it. We've had a team out the last couple of weekends, roping lights and getting things ready to go. We'll start putting up some visuals probably this weekend, just so we can kind of stay ahead of the weather. And we'll keep going until right before the event takes place.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Hey, Wendy, what about voting on the trees?
So the voting will begin on December 1st or December 2nd.
Okay.
And we're going to put a box, again, at Waterville Library, but we're also going to put them in some of the businesses on 3rd Street, and we will have a list of those. And then we'll ask, when you vote for a tree, to sign your name on the form, and then of course, vote for whatever number you want. And the reason we're doing it that way is because we don't want one person going in and stuffing the box with, 50 slips for one tree. So we're really trying to be as fair as we can across the board. So again, they'll just fill that out. And then we'll collect all of those on Saturday, December 7th. So there's only like 1 week worth of voting. And we'll collect the boxes and we'll tally everything up. So at the event on Sunday night, we can announce all the winners. So, great.
Awesome. Good.
Are those trees also lit, the contest trees? They have electricity?
Yes, all the trees will be lit. So
Good.
we'll leave that up to the city to help us with that. They know that they're going to be lit, so we've kind of already talked about all of that. So it'll be really neat because there'll be 13 trees in the park that'll be lit, plus the new trees that the city has purchased for use every single year. So I think it's going to be really magical.
All right. Thank you.
How's the budget? How are you doing with the budget, Wendy?
I'm doing okay. I do think, I know that, I believe Wayne Wagner had asked for, we initially started with like 8,000. I think we asked for an extra 2,000. We're getting close to where we may have to, because I think some of the things have been more expensive than what we intended them to be, but I'm trying to keep it as tight as I possibly can, so.
Just let us know. Thank you.
I will, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next, second citizen, Mr. Scott Johns.
Scott Johns, 1207 Applegate Street. So I was talking to Rob Allen in regards to the ice rink. Asked him if he knew anything about it, and he said he's still waiting on a decision. If you guys had discussion on the location and as well as when we can made a decision on the location for it.
So I can comment to a certain degree. I know that there was some discussion about a more refrigerated rink. I think that the idea is next year we'd have that conversation. But to put the one that the committee and the council supported last year, I think unless something's changed, the plan is to put it back up. Probably
Back where it was?
at
Back where it was.
back where it was, but have some planning so that it's somewhat level. Maybe some sand to go in there just to level up. But I think the committee wants to move forward. I certainly would work with John and the Public Works to get things scheduled.
Okay, so we can just.
Our council has any comments, but I think that's we're certainly in favor of that.
I mean, I don't think Parker's a bad idea, but there's no lights.
Or
No.
seating.
And we're gonna have Christmas trees
Right.
there now, and
Well, we could put it up after.
I mean, but I think
Well,
the idea is to
Cool
get it
till
out soon.
January anyway.
But
Rumor has it it's gonna snow before Thanksgiving, so.
yeah,
Hey, it could.
No, I just wanted to make sure we get a good start on it.
Yeah, I would say the committee wants to get with John and the Public Works and get things scheduled, Go for it.
Scott, how long did it take you guys to put it up last year?
Probably half a day.
Half a day,
The time consuming part was filling it, so.
right. And did I hear we had some issues, like people were on it before it froze and poked a couple little holes in it, so I mean,
Well, it kind of didn't really freeze anyway
right.
last year.
So I think we just wanna make sure we actually know it's gonna freeze,
And that was the idea too, was moving
But-
it there. I think it's more visible than
but be ready to go.
back there in the park where,
Right.
what about Waterworks?
I don't know.
That's not a bad idea.
In the In
the
the
baseball
baseball diamond.
I don't know, I'm open to anything, I'm just trying to get it moving so
'Cause
we're not behind the 8 ball and,
We have electricity out there, we could put, temporary lights, just a thought.
I would ask you, and the committee, sounds like Rob Allen and others,
well, Rob's kinda spearheading it, so I'll just talk to him.
get with John and get moving on it.
But then next year, we can try to plan something down there.
I think we got some time to look at some other options. And,
Yeah,
and,
no, I
and,
think it's
and the possibility of a refrigerated type of a device.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Good.
Okay, that's all I
Anything
have.
else? All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Next is, we're going to go into an executive session. This is in regards to a matter per the Ohio Revised Code 121.22G4, reviewing negotiations with public employees concerning compensation and other terms and conditions of their employment, and Ohio Revised Code 121.22G2 for the purchase or sale of private property for public purposes. Need a roll call? Need a motion to go into executive
So
session?
moved.
So moved, Mary
mine?
Duncan.
Second.
Second, Tony Garver. Roll call?
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Rozak?
Yes.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mayor Petro?
Yes.
Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Brasky?
Yes.
Yes.
We will come out of executive session because we have more on our agenda. Okay, I need a motion to come out of executive.
So moved.
Well, we got one.
Second.
Need a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved again.
So moved, John Rose. I need a second.
Anthony
Second.
Anthony Bruno. Roll call.
Yes.
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 All right, we are back in open session. We will go on to our staff reports, and the first up is our administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Council has a copy of my report. One thing I did want to mention is we had to cancel our Run de Boeuf 5K when we had our weather issue. That was scheduled the Friday before the Roche de Boeuf Festival, so that was rescheduled. So that'll be this Saturday, and that is 8:30 will be the 1K, and then at 9 o'clock will be the 5K. The race course is down River Road to south to Mount Vernon, and then down River Road through Waterworks Park, and then back up to Parker Square where the race finish is. So that's scheduled for this weekend. In terms of construction, the shared use path is pretty much done. So we have some punch list items there, and then we're working on the water line project, Farnsworth Road water line and paving project, finishing up the concrete work this week, and then hopefully next week we can pave, and the weather holds up, we'll have it done before the end of the year. If not, we'll have to finish the paving in the spring.
Any questions for the administrator? Mary?
No questions.
Todd?
All good.
Tony?
All good.
All good.
No, thanks, Mayor.
All right, next is our law director.
No report this evening.
Thank you. And our finance director is John Bokenauer.
Thank you, Mayor. We are working on our month-end issues, and I think as the treasurer mentioned, the month of September is closed. We're going to get a report to council, but everything's moving along in that respect. Apologize, I don't have a report, a month-end report for September. So we will have that at the next meeting.
Okay. And our treasurer report? Okay. All right, Mr. Bruno?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you're gonna start communication with council,
Communications,
let's
yeah.
start with me.
You might- hey, let's have communications from council.
No, I just wanted to make mine short and sweet. I wanted to give a shout out to Steve Schultz, Mayor Peter, and Councilman Wagner, on your guys' efforts. As always, yours for the honor flight. I think that's absolutely awesome that, you guys were able to go together, number one. And Steve, thank you so much for all the continued work and support that you give to Flag City.
And you as well, Anthony.
Yep.
You did go on an earlier flight, and I know
It's a really, really good time.
it's
It's amazing.
very humbling.
Yes.
John Rozick?
Good work. Thanks, Mayor. I just would report that the Fire Co-op Committee, Steering Committee met on the 7th, November 7th. And just these highlights, currently work is being done to correct some issues with dispatching of fire calls. And the regions are being redetermined on who's gonna handle what region, apparently, and that's all underway. Chief Francis from White House offered tours to the committee of the dispatch center, which is apparently fairly impressive. And so far, nobody's gone, but we'll look into that. It's much more than somebody operating out of their, home office. It's a pretty big operation. And also, he mentioned that they're starting some training sessions. A training initiative, I should say, would be starting in January, and it's being handled by the director of the four-county facility. So that's going to start in January for training for all the personnel in the fire departments. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Wayne?
No report, Your Honor.
Tony?
No report, sir.
Todd? All good. And Mary?
No report this evening.
Okay. Thank you. A couple things I have. Yes, it was a very inspirational day yesterday that Wayne Wagner and I went on the trip to Washington, D.C. And I guess the one takeaway was a lot of veterans had never been to D.C. to the memorials, and it's very moving to watch experience that event. Just before today's meeting, we had an inclusive park committee meeting, which you've been hearing about the last several months. We got a group of volunteers that have been meeting, and council will hear more about it going forward. But the highlights are, we had a speaker in today to talk about some of the timelines and some of the structures that could be planned, and there's a whole plan to get more input from the community, and also some of the financial side of it, which will be talking to various community groups and donors at large, individuals. We'll come back to the city with some request for some support. Location to be determined, but we do have a meeting coming up in December 4th to tackle some of those. So it was a good meeting, and thanks to all those that have participated. And then, as I mentioned, at the Pledge of Allegiance, we did have Veterans Day this week. That's why we had our council meeting tonight, so thank you to the veterans in our community. Alrighty, old business. We have none. So new business. Resolution 3824, a resolution approving and adopting the City of Waterville fiscal year 2025 5-year capital planning program for all municipal funds and departments. John, would you elaborate?
Thank you, Mayor. Council has a copy of the proposed fiscal year 2025 5-year capital budget. So this is something that's required in the city charter, that we prepare a 5-year capital budget proposal. And we have estimated that our ending balance in terms of income tax revenue, and that's one of the primary reasons or primary drivers of the 5-year capital budget is, where our income tax is and what we project it might be in the coming year. So we're looking at a 1% increase over our 2024 projection for income tax. And on the first page of the 5-year capital, the introduction, we're looking to end the year at $5,348,952. So that is our total income tax. So that includes our RETA tax that we collect from RETA, municipal utility tax, and then Ohio net profit tax, which is collected by the state of Ohio and then sent to the city. So that's what we're looking at for the end of the year projection. So in that, those numbers are included in the revenue side and the 5-year capital. So we're looking at a 1% increase for next year. And so roughly, that would equate, since we split the income tax revenue, 75% goes to the general fund and 25% goes to the 5-year capital fund. So on page 2, we have the pre-funding schedule. So under revenues, income tax revenue, $1,353,253. That's approximately 25% of the estimated revenue for 2025. So that's built into the pre-funding schedule of the 5-year capital. So with the pre-funding schedule, we try to pre-fund our capital projects 5 years out. So we have our current year, and then 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. The idea is we pre-fund 80% of year 2026, 60% of year 2027, 40% of year 2028, and then 20% of year 2029. For 2025, we're expecting or anticipating a beginning balance of $1,202,717. You add in the estimated revenue, which is predominantly our income tax. Next year, we're looking at about $2 million in grants, predominantly reimbursement grants. A lot of that is from reimbursements, but the one project we have next year is the Waterville-Monclova Road widening, and that's about 1.3 million in grant revenue, so that's plugged in there. You have your transfers in, which is predominantly for pre-funding the later 4 years, and then you have other revenue, which includes the TARTA grant, and then, you know, miscellaneous revenue that we collect, auction money, subdivision trees, things like that. So you have your beginning balance, you add in your anticipated revenues, we subtract our expenditures, which are our debt service, and then our estimated capital projects for 2025. So those are $2,825,927. You add all of the debt service and the capital projects, and our total expenditures are $3,203,070. So that's on page 4. So we have all of our capital projects totals on page 4 by department, and then the expenditures for debt would be on page 5. So that would include the Ohio Public Works loan repayments down to advances out. So that is on page 5. Page 5 plus page 4 equals page 3, which are the grand totals. So if you go down 2/3 of the way down, you see subtotal of all 325 funds is $3,203,070. So that is the estimated expenditures for debt and capital projects. And then we go through our pre-funding schedule. So we take a look at we get our ending balance for 2025, and then we have to look at our current capital year expenditures for 2026, and we subtract our grants and loans for 2026. That gives us our current capital expenses for 2026. That number is $995,452. So that number times 80% is where we get the current year plus 1 pre-funding. So that's how that's figured out. And so we have our pre-funding comparison, which is our ending balance plus 15% of our estimated income tax for 2025. So that's the $202,988. So the balance for pre-funding comparison, which is the baseline, which we use for the 4 years of pre-funding, and then those are plugged in, and then we have our pre-funding goal. So our pre-funding comparison minus our pre-funding goal, we're positive. We have $616 of a surplus, so that means we're pre-funding our estimated capital projects for our 4 years, 2026 through 2029. So those are, we started in August. The department heads submit their requests. We try to look at what kind of revenue we have and the things that we can afford. So the remainder of the document from page 6 to the end is essentially our requests per department. I mentioned the Waterville-Monclova widening. So that's probably the most expensive, $1,535,000. And then, we have our paving program, police and fire. John, I think you mentioned that, police cars aren't getting cheaper. They're just getting more and more expensive. So, those are always plugged in. And then we have, capital in the fire. So those are some areas there. So, I guess there it is. So when we get to the end of the year, we turn the year in January, we'll look at what our actual estimated revenues are, revenue, expenditures, and then we take those figures and we plug those into the operating budget, which will be presented to the Finance Committee at their next meeting, and adjust and things like that. But typically, we end the year with more revenue than we anticipate, and we spend less than we anticipate. So I guess those are good things to have happen. So as we, turn the year, we'll revise this more than likely because it'll reflect what our actual revenues and actual expenses are for 2024. Our beginning balances will more than likely be greater than they are in the 5-year capital budget. So if we have any questions.
So we received this obviously a couple days ago. We'll have a chance to review it. Just expand on a suggested timeline that we want to approve this. I know we got to read through it some more, but what's a suggested timeline?
Well, we have to adopt the budget by March 1st, so probably the second meeting in January we'll have a good idea of our actual revenues, our actual expenditures from 2024, and then we can compare those to what we want to spend in 2025 and get an idea where we are, and
Okay.
that'll be a good, we'll have some good figures at that point.
So I would ask this council to, look this over further, have some more conversation at our next meeting in end of November, and then begin to anticipate some action middle of January.
And we'll have an opportunity to speak to the department heads about what they're requesting?
Yes.
And what
yes.
meeting would that be?
Well, they'll be at the next meeting, and then they'll be at the December meeting, since we only have one in December, so.
Two more
two
sessions.
shots at them that way.
Two
Thank
shots,
you.
be careful. Don't be talking like that.
Yeah, well, just.
Then we have the Christmas party. We could always corner them at the Christmas party.
Right. All right, so any more conversations or questions to the administrator on Resolution 3824? We won't take any action tonight. All right, we'll move on to Resolution 3924, a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Waterville and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association and authorizing the municipal administrator to enter into a proposed memorandum of understanding. John, would you elaborate, please?
Thank you, Mayor. This memorandum of understanding covers our collective bargaining agreement with the Police Union Patrol. And in our current contract, we have a provision that allows for a wage reopener, and that was requested by the union. So we took a look at that, and this proposed MOU authorizes a proposed increase in wages for 2025 for approximately 5%, and that would take effect in 2025. The MOU authorizes no other changes to the existing agreement, and the existing contract expires in December of 2025.
So I need a motion to accept Resolution 3924.
So moved.
Todd Baralski, need a second?
Second.
Second, Wayne Wagner. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next is other information or unscheduled business. All righty, our next scheduled meeting is the end of November,
November 25th?
25th, here in this fine chamber. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Aaron Duckett, second. Todd Borowski. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.